Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to execute a gorgeous mermaid braid for a bride or for a special event. This hairstyle looks super complicated and very impressive, but I promise you that it's actually very quick to do and very, very easy. Let's go. So the first thing I did is I started by curling the hair because I wanted to go really, really fast. I curled the hair using a flat iron. I find this is the fastest way to curl hair for an updo when the curls don't need to look a specific way and you're just trying to get a little bit of texture. So I curled all of that off camera so that you guys wouldn't be bored to death. In the prep, I also teased the hair right at the root all the way through the head. So I teased it before I curled it to create a little cushion in the head and create that nice full volume. So go ahead and do that before you start this braid. You can also not curl at all and just back comb because everything is going into a braid. Curling isn't that important, but I do like to do it because I find that you get some really nice texture through it. But if you're short on time, just skip the curling, go ahead and back comb, smooth everything out, and then start with the steps that I'm about to show you. So the first thing I did was collect some of the hair from the crown area of the head and I pinned it in place. Now the way that I pinned it was by using 2 bobby pins and a tiny stretchy elastic. I actually put the bobby pins through the tiny stretchy elastic and I used that as my securing base. Now you don't have to do it this way. You can totally do it with just 2 bobby pins, whatever you want. I just like doing it this way because I find that I can pinch out volume really easily and it stays very well. Before I move on, I want to quickly mention that my model, her name is Jessica, and she owns an amazing company called My Perfect Pair. This isn't sponsored, but I want to shout her out because I feel like being a part of the bridal community and the wedding community, I am seeing this everywhere and brides all over the world need to know about it. So what she created was a lace style breast tape used for special events. If you have backless dresses, if you have anything where you need your back to be open, there is a beautiful breast tape that you can use that she created. Now, the best thing about this is she is all about body inclusivity. She has quite large breasts herself and she was finding that she couldn't find breast tapes that would hold her properly. So she created this whole line, and no matter your size, no matter your shape, no matter what your breasts look like, this breast tape is gonna work for you. So if you guys wanna check her out on Instagram, I definitely recommend that you do that. She's an amazing entrepreneur, an amazing woman, and has created this really body positive, great brand. Back to the tutorial. So after I pinned that in place and I pinched out loads of volume, what I did was I grabbed another section from that same crown area and I used a topsy tail tool. You can get this on Amazon, super cheap, very handy to have if you're a bridal stylist. And I looped it through that section. Now the reason I did this is because it gives me tons of texture and lots of different shaping through that front section. If you put that whole entire section into one section, you're not going to get as much dimension through the top. Now I went ahead and I sprayed it with a pump spray or a wet hold hairspray. Now the reason that I love wet hairspray or pump spray is because it allows me to really create ridges in the hair. So I just take my fingers, I pull that hair to create those ribbons and those ridges, and then I spray the pump spray to kind of set it in place. I have a lot of control when I use that nice wet pump spray. Now what I did is I took that top section and I pinned it away and I grabbed 2 pieces of extensions and I just clipped them on that bottom section. Now the reason that I'm clipping these extensions isn't even for density or even for length, it's for scaffolding. I need the extension to work as a structural element in this hair design. So if your client has extensions, definitely tell them to bring it. You don't need a lot of pieces, just a few pieces is enough to create a nice scaffolding on the inner layer of that updo. Then I took that entire section and I did a 3-stranded super simple braid and I pulled the braid out a little bit for width and definition. Now what I started doing here is I grabbed 2 sections from the side of the head and I started spinning them on top of each other. This is called a rope braid. Now I like to incorporate a bit of the hair at the bottom to the bottom section of that rope braid and twist it again on top of each other. This is called a one-sided rope braid. So instead of incorporating hair from both ends, you're just incorporating from the bottom and twisting. Now when you get to your desired area, you're going to hold it with one hand and you're going to pinch out volume, pinch out texture, make it bigger and wider, and then you're going to pin it in place. I'm going to show you from the other side because it's going to be a lot more clear to see what I am doing. So as you can see, one-sided rope braid, pinching out texture, and then adding those bobby pins to keep it in place. Now I'm gonna continue doing this throughout the head. I'm adding more hair, I'm swooping it down, I'm starting to rope braid, incorporating some hair into the bottom of that rope braid, pinching out texture and pinning it in place until you get to the braided section. Now here it can start to get a little bit seemingly tricky, but it's not. So what I like to do is unravel that braid because I've run out of hair to cross over on itself, but you still have that braid right at the top that's nice and secure, that's wide, that's holding all of that stuff on top. Now you're gonna undo the bottom of that braid, and again, you're going to take smaller sections, do a rope braid, and pin them on the other side. Continue doing this, moving from side to side, rope braiding, pulling it out, spraying it, and pinning it as well as you can into the base of that ponytail. Now you're gonna feel like this isn't secure, but it actually is if you pin it properly. You wanna make sure that your bobby pins are really tight, they're nice and firm, and that you're pushing the bobby pin right into the hair, into the base of that ponytail. And finally, as your final step, you can adorn this with some beautiful accessories. Now, because this is so boho and so, garden party style, you can do fresh flowers, you could do baby's breath is beautiful. In this case, I did some really branchy accessories because I found that it really flowed well with this type of look. The sky's the limit, whatever you want to do would look amazing. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to know the products that I used to create this look, check the description box below because all of the product details will be there. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll see you next week. Bye.